keeps you up to date on all things IPW. I'm your host, J Rod. IPW Blackout in March was an early favorite for our best event of 2023. Revenge blew it out of the water. We kicked off the first triple header with a return to the campus of Western Michigan University as Y Bar and Bistro hosted Revenge. I got into the ring to make the event's opening announcements when I was confronted by IPW champion Ren Jones. Jones found out that the Michiana Championship was the main event and took offense, telling everyone that he was a far greater champion than Jamal King would ever be. A disgusted Jones said that if he isn't the main event, he would rather get his match out of the way right now so that he could catch an early flight back to Hollywood. We were shocked to see who the challenger was. Standing 6'7", weighing 350 pounds, Congo Kong. Ren Jones immediately had second thoughts and was no doubt intimidated by the monster, and his title was in serious jeopardy throughout the match. But Ren was able to use his speed and quickness to catch Kong in a roll-up for the 3 count and successfully defend his title. The leader of the Forgotten, Jeremiah Nazareth, has a sick and twisted hold on his followers. His grip on them is so strong that Jarris Gray willingly threw a fireball into the face of his own brother Jimmy Gray. Not only that, when Nazareth demanded Jarris challenge Jimmy to a match, Jarris did so. The two decided to beat the hell out of each other in our first ever kendo stick match. The Grey Wolves were both in rare form and firing on all cylinders in what could be considered an early contender for Match of the Year. In the end, Jimmy Gray pulled off a big upset and picked up the win over his brother Jarris Gray. After the match, Jimmy pleaded with Jarris to leave the Forgotten behind. Everyone was relieved to see the Grey Wolves hug it out and leave the Forgotten behind. They walked out together to thunderous applause. For over a year, Casey Tempest has been the scapegoat for the Forgotten. Anytime something goes wrong, Jeremiah Nazareth took out his frustrations on Tempest. At Tough Luck, Tempest decided he was fed up. Tempest tried to get his hands on Nazareth, but it was obvious that Tempest would have to get through the other members of the Forgotten to reach their leader. With wins over both Jarris Gray and Max Morrison, it was time for these two to fight it out, and they would do so in a barroom brawl. This match was easily the most violent match of the night. Despite a valiant effort from Tempest that saw both men taste their own blood, Jeremiah Nazareth was able to get the win. Although Casey Tempest lost the match, it is clear that Jeremiah Nazareth will never come after Tempest again. Furthermore, this match was a Fate of 8 qualifier. That makes Jeremiah Nazareth our third entrant into the Fate of 8 tournament. He joins Anderson Knight and Terry Van Avery. Next up was our Patreon exclusive match, a fatal 4-way for a spot in the Fate of 8 tournament. This match featured 4 of IPW's biggest fan favorites, one of which was a returning solo. He met LaDon Sanders, Chad Alpha, and Felix Morio. Chad Alpha won the contest and will go on to make his second appearance in the Fate of 8 tournament. To see this nail-biter of a match, subscribe to our Patreon at the IPW regular tier. At Blackout, Jeremiah Goldmane's manager's license was reinstated, and he told us all he was on a quest for gold. He got snubbed by women's champion Randy West, but this time he had the tag team titles on his mind. Goldmane spotted one half of the IPW Tag Team Champions, Jimmy Shalwin, in the commentary booth and invited Shalwin to the ring, telling Shalwin that he would love to have the tag team titles under his umbrella. Shalwin rejected the idea of joining Jeremiah Goldmane's team, but Goldmane said he wasn't offering to recruit Real Hype. He wanted their belts for the tag team he just signed and asked Shalwin to hand over his belt willingly. Shalwin was beside himself and welcomed Goldmane to try to take it from him. Goldmane turned tail and ran all the way out of the building, but Shalwin followed him to the parking lot and made him pay for the disrespect shown prior to the match. Goldmane pulled some shenanigans and almost stole a victory, but Jimmy Shalwin would rally and pick up a clear win. Although everyone enjoyed seeing Goldmane get his ass kicked by another one of our beloved champions, don't forget, he did tell us he has a tag team under his management now. Make fun of him all you want, Jeremiah Goldmane is one of the best advocates in this business and proves it once again, because his tag team will challenge Real Hype at Onslaught in Ypsilanti this Sunday for the tag team titles. We know we've got a match, but we don't know yet who his team will be. I invited Fate of 8 qualifier Terry Van Avery to join me in the ring to discuss the upcoming tournament. We were interrupted by Jorge, the guy who used to run the admissions table in IPW. Jorge was fired last month when Terry caught him stealing then sucker punched Terry and ran out of the building. Security tried to kick Jorge out of the building. Jorge showed that he purchased the ticket and had every right to be in the building for this event. Being in the building is one thing, but getting into the ring is another. Jorge has insisted several times that he never stole Terry's wallet and was screaming it from the inside of the ring. An annoyed Terry Van Avery asked security to step down and told Jorge he would toss Jorge out of the building himself. Referee Otto Spencer just happened to already be in the ring, and somehow an impromptu match began between the two. While he's not a wrestler, Jorge is a big, tough dude with a rough background, and Terry was caught off guard. After taking some punishment, Terry hit a big slam on Jorge and covered him as our referee began what appeared to be a slow count for 2. Terry caught onto this and pinned Jorge again, this time watching the referee closely as he administered yet another slow count. When Terry confronted referee Otto Spencer, Jorge took advantage of the distraction and hit Terry with a huge spinning side slam. Jorge then pinned Terry, and referee Otto Spencer counted to 3 despite Terry getting his shoulder up. A confused Terry demanded Jorge get back into the ring, and that's when Jorge once again stated he never stole anything. And it turns out he was telling the truth, in a way. Jorge revealed that, in fact, it was not him who stole from the locker room. It was referee Otto Spencer. Spencer then decked Terry, and Otto and Jorge laid a beatdown on Terry before Josh Raymond came to the rescue. Jorge and Otto hightailed it to the back, and amidst the confusion, Max Morrison took his opportunity to attempt to recruit Josh Raymond to the Forgotten. Losing Jarrus from the group earlier in the night means they're down to 2, and the loyalty Josh Raymond showed Terry is exactly what the Forgotten is looking for. Fans were happy to see Josh lock that crossface chicken wing in once again to fold Max Morrison up and win the match via submission. It is worthy to note that Derek Wolf did ask Josh to address their friendship, and if it still stands, Josh did not take the opportunity to do that. Derek, however, did.
Now what, Josh? Where do we go from here? See, I'm confused, but I'm also at this point a little irritated because I asked kindly for you to give me an answer about whether or not we're still friends. And you had a great opportunity to do so at IPW Revenge, but you didn't even address the situation. So I'm now at an impasse, if you will, because I'm not sure if you are still friends with me, if you're not still friends with me. I just don't know where we stand. And I'm a little angry, not going to lie, but even more than that, I'm hurt. I'm hurt, Josh, because friends don't ignore each other. And that's exactly what you did at IPW Revenge. You ignored me. So, I got to be honest with you. I'm hurt and angry. So at this point, I think I just need to take matters into my own hands. You know, I'm going to make a decision now. It's past the point of having the ball in your court. The ball's in my court, okay? I'll decide if we're friends or not. And I'm going to make that decision at IPW Onslaught in Ypsilanti this coming weekend. You better be there because I will decide if we're friends or not, Josh. You can bank on that.
I guess we'll see what comes of this, as Derek Wolf is expected to be IPW Onslaught in Ypsilanti this Sunday. As for the home team, management was quick to book a match for them at Onslaught for the first time in 2023. The home team will be back together in tag team action. The former IPW Tag Team Champions Josh Raymond and Terry Van Avery will face Otto Spencer and Jorge. It will be a pleasure to see the home team back together as a tag team. Remember, they are still undefeated as a team. They relinquished their titles due to a health scare. Nobody ever beat them. You can imagine Terry Van Avery is licking his chops at the thought of getting his hands on Jorge and Otto, and will get the chance to do so on Sunday at Onslaught. In our main event, we would finally see resolution to Vendrick Bison versus Jamal King. Back in February, Bison stole the Michiana Championship belt from Jamal King while King was preoccupied. Since then, Bison has picked up a disqualification and a countout victory over Jamal King and stole the belt again each time. The championships can only officially change hands with a pinfall or submission. so King remains IPW Michiana champion despite not physically having the title belt. In order to bring an end to this, Bison would challenge King one final time in a no disqualification match. This time, the rightful champion would lead with the belt. Just as King was about to finish Bison off with a Supreme Lock, everyone was shocked to see that Ren Jones had in fact not left the building. Jones came down to the ring and screwed Jamal King. Bedrick Bison was in the right place at the right time because thanks to Ren Jones, Bison just became the new IPW Michiana champion. Following the match, the IPW champion inflicted further punishment on Jamal King, topped off by his trademark Tequila Sunrise submission hold. Ren Jones did all this because of jealousy that Jamal King was made the main event instead of him. Despite the vicious beating he took from Jones after the match, King has somehow received clearance from the IPW medical staff and will be in action Sunday at Onslaught in Ypsilanti. Ren Jones, however, told management that he is taking the weekend off. One has to believe he is doing this to avoid having to face the music for what he did to King. We can't wait to see the fallout from what happened at Revenge this Sunday in Ypsilanti at Onslaught. That concludes this edition of The Insider. This Sunday, we continue with the second part of our first triple header. One weekend down, 2 more to go. Tickets for the next 2 events are available now at eventbrite.com. Get yours and join us in Ypsilanti, Michigan at Bowling Warehouse on Sunday, April 23rd at 6 p.m. as IPW presents Onslaught.